Welcome to Wrestling Revisited. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
This week, in honor of the end of Haas Month, we are looking at one of our first ever Haas wrestlers we covered on Crossbody of Work, Big Van Vader.
Truly a revolutionary Haas in
A
professional wrestling.
super talented Haas.
Oh, yeah.
And just one of the most spectacular big men you're ever going to see. He was not our first ever Haas. That award goes to Abyss.
Shout out to Joseph Park.
Shout out to Joseph Park when we celebrated Haas Month for the first time, all the way back in 2020. And now we close out another one here in 2023. Haas Month Ghost Protocol has been a massive success. So we figure we should go back and watch 2 more Vader matches because it's always fun to watch Vader matches.
For those who don't know, we've just fallen off from the top of the car park, and now we're going and landing, and we just stopped the nuclear warhead from landing. It literally landed in a river.
Yep.
And now we're figuring out the rest of it.
Yeah, they really like sullied it. Remember Sully landing that plane?
In the water of the Hudson.
Did you watch that movie with Tom Hanks?
I didn't.
It's not bad. It's just Tom Hanks being a good actor. Like, there's nothing else to it.
What's the movie I like? Flight, the Denzel Washington movie. Movie's pretty good.
God, I love Denzel. All right, our first match is actually a continuation of a feud we covered in Vader's episode. Vader's episode all the way back in, like I said, it's August 2020. He was episode 26.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I know. Go and listen to the Vader episode if you want more Vader. But here we are covering another match against Sting. This is Slamboree 1994 for the International WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Vader was originally scheduled to face Rick Rude, but Rude had to be replaced by Sting as Rude had suffered a career-ending back injury in Japan against Sting. Kind of shitty to replace him with the guy who injured him in the match.
Okay, well, he didn't get injured. Like Sting wasn't the one that injured him.
No,
he got hurt by, what did he take? He took a back body drop, and then he landed on the part of the,
trapdoor, wasn't it?
Was it? No, that was, what's his
Bulldog.
name? Yeah, no, there was a part of the ramp where, when it hit, it was like...
Yeah, it was uneven.
It was uneven, and when his back hit the uneven bit, it just...
Yeah. Not Sting's fault, but it just feels weird. What do you know about the WCW International title?
Just nothing. I didn't even know this was a thing.
So you ready for this? The popular misconception is that it was a secondary title because, it's got international name. It's like the International Championship, it just seems like a secondary title. In reality, it was presented as the highest accolade of WCW International, a fictitious subsidiary of WCW. The championship was contested at WCW events and at several events in Japan under New Japan Pro Wrestling. So essentially, they made up WCW Japan, and then this was their world title, and they just defended it when they went to Japan or on New Japan shows, and that's part of their partnership.
So it's kind of like New Japan Strong titles.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good way to look at it. It also reminds me of when we thought NXT was going to actually have...
But
NXT
inverted,
Japan.
sorry.
Yeah. They would have NXT Japan and then NXT India and shit like that.
Yeah. And they would make Kairi Sane the face of it, and instead she wants to just go be Kairi and was great, and now she's coming back probably.
I'm very excited that she's coming back. What did you think of this match?
It's fine.
It's a lot of feeling out. And
yeah, it's a lot of punches, stiff fucking punches from Vader.
From both men. Sting, not somebody I associate with potatoing, but Sting with quite a few, I'd say stiff shots here.
Gotta try to give the man a receipt,
That's true, because Vader, God love him, just throws his whole arm into every punch.
Yeah. My favorite thing about this, there's two. My first 2 notes are my favorite thing about this match. So at the beginning, they do a lockup. Vader pushes Sting up to the ropes, takes a couple steps back, and then does a bow.
Yeah, which was super weird.
And then at one point, right after that, they're having an exchange or whatever. And I don't know what the heck the crowd is saying, but I swear to God, they're saying Sting loves cock.
Well,
I swear to God. It sounds exactly like that.
1994. I don't know. Weird times.
I don't think they're saying that because Sting is the overwhelming babyface at this point.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, they're saying it.
Weird crowd for Slamboree 1994, which was marketed as a Legends Night. And there was inductions into the WCW Hall of Fame earlier that night. Commentary mentions that Harley Race, who was the manager of Vader, was one of the inductees. I've got the rest of the class for 94. So we had Harley Race, we had Ernie Ladd, we had The Crusher, we had Dick the Bruiser, we had the Assassin, and Ole Anderson were all inducted in the WCW Hall of Fame.
All right, well, like 3 of those guys are really fun.
Who are the 3? Give me the 3. Who are the
So
3 fun ones?
it's Harley, it's
Yeah.
Ernie Ladd, shout out.
Yeah,
And it's Ole. Who
Yeah.
the fuck is the Crusher? And
It's the
Dick
Crusher.
the Bruiser?
He crushes things. He's the Crusher.
The Crusher Man.
Well, he couldn't go by his real name, which is Reginald Lasowski.
Actually, I kind of fucks with that. I'm not going to lie to you.
Mike Wazowski. Yeah, there's a long feeling out process at the start of this match. Sting gets some shots in. Vader like clubs him to the outside.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about Vader's weird relationship with his mask?
Yeah, I don't think he likes it.
I don't think he likes it one bit. I'm glad you had the same thought.
He just keeps using it for some reason.
He comes out with it, and like I'm not talking about his like big helmet, like his ceremonial like all Japan helmet. Not that one, but the like actual leather mask that's on his face. Because in this match, he takes it off partway through, and in the Misawa match, because spoilers, we're getting to a Misawa match after this. He takes it off before the match even starts.
Yeah.
Really
I don't know. You know, I like to think that it's just because like he uses one, and maybe kind of depending on where he's at with his weight, sweat levels, whatever. It's just like,
this is super fucking annoying and just takes off.
yeah.
Do you ever put an outfit on and you're like, this doesn't work. I don't feel right in it. And you got to change. But imagine you had like a uniform that everyone's like, hey, show up in that. And it was a mask that went around your face.
It doesn't do like most. You know what it is? Most of the times, it's like, yeah, these pants don't work.
Yeah, that's usually it.
It's not even that they don't fit. It's just like, I don't work.
It's just not the move. Not the move
it's
today.
Not the move.
Sting gets some shots in, kicks Vader to the outside. That's when Vader takes the mask off. In the ring, a big vertical suplex by Sting. They do some meeting for splashes in the middle, but Vader eventually wins that battle because he's a hoss.
Body checks the fuck out of Sting.
And then stomping him in the face.
Yeah, Vader's a sick individual.
He is.
And then he hits him with a Vader bomb for a near fall. At this point, honestly, he like put some weight into that fucking Vader bomb too. I'm starting to think Vader might have hated Sting.
But then does a really shitty pin. He pins only like this half of Sting's body.
Yeah, he just kind of like grabs the arm and then just like
and leaves one whole arm. So Sting just kicks out by just lifting that shoulder. He's like, oh
yeah,
all right.
If it were Sami Zayn, he would have used the arm anyways.
He would have tried. And then we get a second Vader bomb, and this time Sting manages to grab the ropes because he's too close.
Yeah. We get a body check. We get a weird leg lock by Vader.
I didn't know what to call that leg lock. I was like,
called it a weird leg lock.
He has a leg.
And he's stretching out the ACL or like
the arm into Sting's ribs.
Ugly ground and pound by Vader after this. And by ugly, I mean ugly because Sting's getting fucked up right now.
Brutalizing. That's the best way to describe it.
He is just... God, this is like...
Sting starts to fight back. He gets some rights and some chops. He drops Vader with a right hand. It's a running elbow drop. Irate goes for a diving clothesline, but Vader ducks and Sting hits the ref.
Yes.
Vader then hits what I think is a underrated chokeslam. It's really good. Vader is not who I associate with a chokeslam. Obviously, you think of like Undertaker and Big Show and Kane and other people.
Yeah.
Vader just like chucks Sting.
It kind of looks like a Uranagi, but it's not. It's chokeslam.
It's got sauce on it that it becomes a Uranagi.
And so he does that. The ref is down. Fucking Nick Patrick, not doing his job.
No, it was Randy. Randy
was
Anderson.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, couldn't have. He could have fooled me. Harley then hits Vader with a chair by accident while Vader's holding Sting up into position. Sting then hits a DDT for a near fall. Sting goes, he heats up a little bit. He goes for a Stinger splash at one point. Vader just catches him, plants him.
Beautiful.
Goes up for a moonsault. Sting moves on the moonsault. When he went for a pin, he goes 1, 2, and then Sting moves out of the way because Harley Race is coming off the top rope with a flying headbutt. And then he just hits Vader.
Yeah.
And then
Sting then goes up top. And he splashes Vader from the top, gets the pin.
While Randy is dumping Harley Race out of the ring. He literally just grabs him and chucks him out.
That's a Hall of Famer. You get your hands off him.
Show some respect for the king.
Sting wins the WCW International Championship. great success. This is a fun match. There are
That's it.
better. Like you should go watch their strap match.
If you watch it, honestly, I will say, if you just watch this match like on like 1.5 speed all the way through, like I think it's just kind of fun in
Yeah.
spurts. But you know, if you watch it in a quick way, it like really gets through some of the malaise of the match.
Yeah, some of the like long extended Vader in control spots.
Yeah,
Sting is so good at fighting from underneath, though. God damn, what a
yeah,
baby face. I used
great.
to not get the Sting hype because I wasn't a WCW guy or a TNA guy. And then going back, this podcast especially, I'm like, God, Sting's like an elite level babyface, S tier
Yeah,
babyface,
yeah. I mean,
easily.
look, if I was like 5 years old, he probably would have been my favorite wrestler.
I get it. That's the thing is sometimes we go back in time and rewatch things and we don't get it, but then we go back and we do get it. Sting, I get. Savage,
Yes.
I get. Hogan, I don't get.
Well, we haven't done any Hogan like stuff.
Not intentionally. All right, let's move to All Japan. It is May 2nd, 1999, and I spoiled it earlier, but it's Vader versus Mitsuharu Misawa for the All Japan Pro Wrestling Triple Crown Championship at the Giant Baba Memorial Show for All Japan Pro Wrestling. There were a number of Giant Baba Memorial shows that happened. This is specifically the All Japan Pro Wrestling one at the Tokyo Dome. Vader is the champion going in.
I'm pretty sure had no, because Baba just died. No, I forget. Misawa splits and creates Noah after he falls out with Baba's wife.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what it
that is
was.
the origin story of All Japan.
Yes. Vader starts this match off with blood in his mind.
Vader, so this is gonna be a very specific reference, but I feel like you'll get it. Did you ever have a kid growing up? Like there, everyone, you know, when you're little, it's hard to control your emotions, whatever. But there was a kid in class or like in your neighborhood, you're like, don't piss off Tony, because instead of
It's
like
me. I was Tony.
you were Tony, like you were the one who was like, if you piss me off, I will throw things at you and like beat the shit out of you.
No, I wasn't like that. I was just like a. Don't want to say I was like a violent child. I was more just like an entitled child.
Oh, okay.
Like I was that kid.
I was
Like I
very
had to have my way.
I was very much oblivious. I was just like happy to be there. But I remember this kid in my neighborhood. I'm not going to say his real name. And he got so
Tony.
mad. He got his. It wasn't Tony. He got so mad once because somebody scored on him in soccer that the kid scored and walked backwards, and Tony straight up took off a shoe and absolute Josh Allen laser beam to the back of this guy's head.
Josh Allen is what you go with.
Well, it's because he's got a cannon of an arm, and that's how fast
Pat,
this shoe moves.
Patrick Mahomes.
Well, he didn't sound like Kermit, and I remember being like, okay, so we shouldn't annoy him anymore, and like don't play jokes on him because he might throw a shoe at you with deadly accuracy.
Did the kid go down like a sack of bricks?
He dropped so hard, and if I remember correctly, we were near that the kid who got hit. We were near his house, and so the kid who threw the shoe just immediately left. He's like, I know this isn't gonna go well for me. He's just like gone. We're in the fourth grade, maybe. It's great.
Oh my god, that's
Vader's
even
that
worse.
kind of guy. I feel like you don't make Vader see red because he'll kill you.
It's like Brock. Like, don't
Yeah,
upset Brock.
don't piss off Brock. What are we doing?
Brock, I'm sure, is a nice guy. I do not want to get on his bad side, though.
That's why when I see things like Riddle really wants to have a match with Lesnar and Lesnar doesn't want anything to do with it, I'm like, Riddle, leave it alone.
Yeah, stop.
Stop it. He'll
Get some help.
He'll kill you. Yeah, Vader is that way.
He's
And
a scary
early
man,
on,
too.
he's just trading shots. He backs Misawa out of the corner with a massive elbow, and then drops him with a running splash. It's really
At one
good.
point, he, like, just fucking punches him right in the ear. And I'm like, anywhere but the ear, Vader.
Anything in the ear sucks.
Because it throws off your equilibrium. Like, you're just
does.
done for the rest of the day.
Corner splash, discus clothesline, combo by Vader. Misawa gets a foot on the ropes. Vader then smashes Misawa up off the turnbuckle, falls to the outside, drops him on the guardrail. And
How he does it is disgusting.
Yeah, go
too.
ahead.
Just overhead right. Just fucking nails the motherfucker.
I want to talk about a specific thing in Japanese wrestling that you know very well and that I have started to appreciate as I've kind of exposed myself more to Japanese wrestling, which is certain moves don't just get hit. Nobody just submits to certain moves happening because we're at ringside here, and Vader really wants to hit Misawa with a powerbomb. And Misawa is fighting tooth and nail to not get hit with a powerbomb because he knows this is going to be really deadly. It's really going to hurt. And so he's like just striking Vader in the legs. He's not letting himself get pulled up. He's doing all this, and I love that about Japanese wrestling is that there's always what feels like a little bit more realism in terms of the willingness to submit to a move,
Yeah.
and I think that's really good. And is that like historic? Like, has that been always, or is
Yeah,
it
I mean,
like
you could think about it like nowadays, like Okada, like everyone knows the
yeah,
Rainmaker's coming, so you really try to soften up that arm. Like you work over the arm, you kick the arm, you do whatever the fuck you want, but make sure that he doesn't hit you with that goddamn short arm clothesline, or else you're done. Um, you look at like Will Ospreay, a lot of it, like you try to get rid of the hidden blade,
yeah,
or you try to take away his strength so he can't hit the Os cut or Os Stormbreaker.
yeah?
The people like that, like there's specific wrestlers who just have moves that I feel like are kind of like, you know, like protected is not necessarily the word because
They're like
like people
feared.
kick out of them, but
Yeah,
yeah, they're like feared. Like a Tanahashi high five flow is essentially just like an fu from John Cena.
yeah,
Like you're gonna kick out of it the first couple times.
yeah. And I think it's
Um,
interesting that like you can still see it in Japanese wrestling matches now. That early on you can't hit like a big move. It's very
yeah.
rare to hit like a big suplex or a power bomb. Like if you
Well,
put
they
a
just
person in
lead
a
to no
position,
sell spots.
yes, that's true.
Like Tomohiro Ishii hits Shibata or Minoru Suzuki with like a brain buster, and they're kicking out at one, and then they're
Yeah.
getting up and hitting their finisher, and then Ishii is going to kick out at one.
Yeah, it's those two things in tandem. I think the fact they'll actually fight to not get hit with those moves, and then if they get hit with those moves, they're like, I'm not tired. Like this is the first thing you hit me with, right?
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
it's one of the first opening sequences of a match, it's exciting as hell. If you're midway through, you're fighting like it's like life or death for these
And
wrestlers.
if it's late, you're not fighting because you're exhausted.
And
Yeah.
you're praying he doesn't hit it.
Vader does hit this power bomb though, and it sucks because you can hear the
Ringside.
Misawa thud.
And then it gets worse because he hits a splash off the apron.
He does. I saw him go up to the top, and I was like, or to the apron. I was like, oh, okay, he's going back to the ring, and then he jumped off, and I said, why? Why did you do that?
I don't know why he did it, Evan, and honestly, I don't want to know because that is a dead man.
He's a scary, scary man. Big clothesline in the ring, suplex smash. Misawa still kicks out. Misawa then starts to get some shine back. He's getting some right forearms. He elbows Vader out of the ring. Does one of the most reckless suicide dives I've ever seen.
And it worked.
It worked.
It worked for him.
It did gret work. But
Then he gets even more reckless.
yeah, go for it.
He hits a slingshot splash to the outside onto Vader. Then he gets Vader back into the ring, hits a missile dropkick, and then just one of the nastiest bridging German suplexes you will ever see in your life.
You, you ever see a move and your only reaction is just,
Oh, brilliant! It's like a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat finisher where like they hit the German and then like the person's like head like comes off or whatever. Like,
like you play NFL Blitz or Blitz
yeah,
the League?
yeah.
Yeah, it's that where you get a stack on the quarterback and you're like, oh wow, he's actually like ripped in half. It's incredible.
No, man, it's like fucking 400 pounds coming down straight on the goddamn top of his neck.
It's really good stuff.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. We got a drop kick by Misawa, and then caught running the ropes by Vader with another release German suplex. Hits another release German, so we're at 3 for those counting in Suplex City. Misawa still kicks out. Vader goes to the moonsault, second time out of 2 matches that it does not hit. Misawa dodges instead.
It's a Tiger Driver 97 at one point here.
Oh yeah, I skipped over the Tiger Driver 97 that he hits, which normally not as much release as he gives it. He throws Misawa forward a lot.
Yeah, Misawa went flying,
Yeah.
which is
Like normally
it's pretty cool.
You land with the person. That's why it's like a sit up. Nope, Vader just tosses him across the room.
Yeah, he basically just did like a last, not a last ride necessarily, but like a, what's the Diesel power bomb? Why am I forgetting that? A jackknife. He basically just did a jackknife power bomb.
Then he misses the moonsault. Vader goes back up top. Misawa meets him and superplexes him. Misawa hits a top rope splash for a 2 count. Then hits a very nice top rope DDT. I thought he was going to superplex Vader again, but he just DDTs him off the top rope.
When someone uses that as their finisher, it's going to suck.
Yes, it's very dangerous.
The amount of setup.
Yeah, spinning elbow by Misawa. Vader pops up, clothesline, and what I can only describe as a bonsai drop for a 2.
Yeah, and then we get the finishing sequence here,
Yeah,
which
very
is
surprising that it happened suddenly.
as many forearm strikes as you can possibly imagine from Misawa,
Yep.
and then a final running forearm strike that just knocks the fuck out of Vader. 1, 2, 3. Misawa wins the match.
We did pick 2 matches where Vader loses the title, but those of you who are unfamiliar with Vader, you have to know this was a dominant performer literally everywhere he went.
Yeah.
Vader was maybe the easiest person to book as a big deal in like the 90s. Whenever they came to you, you just saw him and you were like, oh, he matters.
I mean, he
Like,
got a shine back from Sting because that was in the midst of a feud.
yeah.
And by the Misawa match, I mean, it's 99. Like, he's just coming off his WWE run. He's really later on in his career. And, put over Misawa. It's fine.
Aside from WWE, like a world champion pretty much everywhere else, 3-time IWGP heavyweight champion, 2-time Triple Crown heavyweight champion in All Japan, 3-time WCW world heavyweight champion, like UWA world heavyweight champion, Impact Zone heavyweight champion, but not that Impact Zone.
Yeah, not that one.
Not that one. Vader is excellent.
Vader's great.
Excellent wrestler. He deserves all the flowers. There's a reason he is also one of those guys who pops up whenever we cover other wrestlers. Vader seems to have a lot of good matches, whether it's in Japan or in 90s WWE and WCW. Vader seems to be a lot of people's best match.
A workhorse hoss.
That's a really good Venn diagram of like who are the workhorse hosses, right? Vader's in there.
Vader's definitely in there. I mean, Keith Lee is the first one that came to mind for some reason.
Genuinely, like when he needs to, it's Brock.
Yeah. You can get some good matches out of a lot of good hosses.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, obviously.
Respect your hosses. Respect your hosses. Respect your elders. This is really fun. I like going back and watching more Vader matches. Really easy one to go back and dive into.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back at some point, like a few years from now, and just like start watching like the Too Cold Scorpio matches again, or like the redo of Virgil is gonna feed families.
The eventual Midian redo is going to be incredible. But we thank you for joining us on Wrestler Revisited. You should follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Crossbody of Work. You should hit subscribe. You should hit like. We got lots of these other videos. We've recently done some draft videos of the best hosses of all time. Vader was on that list. We went and we made cards of the best matches that ever happened in Japan. Vader was suspiciously not on that list. Very weird. Should have been. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, you should listen to our podcast, Crossbody of Work. Right now, we're in the midst of our 3-part series on another Haas, The Big Show. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Wrestler Revisited. We'll be back soon with another wrestler we've already covered. Talk to you then.